Welcome to Queerly Speaking. I'm your host, Nat Jones, and together my wife and I will navigate the complex intersections of faith identity, love, and resilience. In each episode, we'll share stories of heartbreak, healing, and hope from individuals who were told they didn't belong in the very spaces that shaped us. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Queerly Speaking. I'm your host, Nat Jones.
I'm your co-host, Tammy Jones.
And I hope you guys had a good weekend.
We back at it again.
Yeah, we're back at it again. I hope you guys had a good weekend. You can see we are dog sitting in the background, the lovely Rosie.
Special guest this week.
Funny story, Rosie was actually named after a local nonprofit. The local nonprofit that I am a part of. It's Rosie's House Music Academy here in town, and I'm very honored by that, so thank you. Welcome to the show, Rosie. Welcome, and glad to have you here. Said her name too many times. She's like, hello. Anyway, so this week we thought it would be actually fun to talk about the crazy shit people are saying to us. Either in the last year through this process or more currently.
Yeah.
And we each have a couple of things to bring to the table. So
more than a couple. We could be here for days on this.
Yes, we could. However, honey, why don't you start?
Well, I actually was going to say that I think you should start because I feel like we need to go with, at the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit people say to you when you're pregnant that I'll get into, but I think we had some crazy experiences of things people said to us just when we were trying to conceive. So I feel like we should really start at the beginning.
And it's interesting because I think you're getting the crazier shit now, and I had the crazy shit before, before we were pregnant. So what do I start with?
Well, I can just start with kind of a generalized one, if that helps.
Sure.
I feel like, and let me just, well, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to try to say it to be nice on a Monday morning. I do generally feel like people's hearts are in a good place, or they think they're coming from a good place of helping. It's just the shit they say. We've had several people offer their sperm to us, or sperm of people that they know.
Straight to my face, actually.
In order to save a pretty penny.
That was kind of an interesting thing to say when you said offered sperm, and I said straight to my face.
That's not going to get us a baby, honey. I learned that in health class.
No. I mean, they communicated it to my face.
Right. They're not even shy about it. And you're like, okay, your sentiment is we're telling you how expensive fertility is. Thanks. I don't know how to explain that we don't want that.
Well, I mean, okay, if you step back and you look at it, you're like, okay, if you're just, I don't know, a straight person who maybe doesn't know a lot of gay. I don't really know exactly what quantifies someone who would say that. However, it's more like in their heads, this is how I think it goes. Oh, so we like them. They're fun people. They're pretty lesbians. And they're telling us that like the process is expensive. Sperm is so expensive. From my point of view, I'm not offering that up as opening the door for you to offer sperm to me. I'm just communicating about the process. It's like if you go to Target, right? And you're like, damn, that bed is really expensive. I don't know if you can buy beds at Target, but just follow me for a second. And I'm like, you can sleep in my bed. That's what it's like. And you're like, okay, I get how you're trying to solve a problem here, but that's the wrong problem to solve.
That is a great analogy, honey.
Thank you.
And that's what I mean. Like the heart is in the right place. You're like, thank you, I think. But we're not really interested in that.
Right. Especially when the individual whose sperm is being offered up is just right there looking you dead in the eyes.
Right. You're like,
because next you're like, I'm going to offend them because his sperm's not worthy, but it has nothing to do with that. It's like, I don't want to know you like that. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's so many layers to that.
That was kind of a common one.
Multiple times to us.
Yeah, multiple people, multiple times. We know like other same-sex couples going through fertility that have had the same shared experience, and you're like, okay, It's just weird, you know? We're like, no, thank you. Like, it's like the, telemarketer at the door. What are they? Not, I guess not a telemarketer, like the door-to-door salesman.
Yeah.
You're like shutting the door in their face, but this is like times 20 because it's someone that you know talking about their sperm.
Right. I'm just going to lower this just a little bit. And no, lay down. And for the record, I only asked for someone's sperm in our friend group, and it's kind of like a running joke to this day because I got a little tipsy and I was like,
I was not present, by the way.
One of my good friends. One of my good friends. I was like, well, you could do it. Like, that wouldn't be weird. You should do it. No, it would be weird.
Fuck no.
And it would be as equally weird for him, I think, too. Although people do that, and that's not weird for them. And so I'm not casting judgment. It just would be, it would just wasn't our choice. It'd be odd for us. But is a beautiful man. We do have similar features.
All right, let's move on. We already have something cooking here.
Well, I was just saying for the record.
I think that's kind of goes with anything, right? Like it's like you get to lead the joke, right? Like we can lead the joke about asking for someone's sperm. It's not really appropriate for someone to lead the joke about offering their sperm to me.
Right. Yeah. To be fair, also, if you were like, yeah, we'll use yours. Well, I'll be like, sit the fuck down.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Like, no. I barely even wanted to look at the donor website. I definitely don't want to be like sitting across from them at dinner, which again, is just our experience. A lot of people do that. A lot of people use known donors, and that's totally fine. But I think like what you said, it's like those people are initiating wanting to do that. We're not. We're just giving data. When people ask how it's going, we're just sharing data. And the data is, it costs an arm and a fucking leg for this much sperm. I'm like, really? That cost you $2,500? It took 15 seconds probably.
Right. Yes. Appropriate responses would be like, wow, I didn't realize fertility was so expensive. Think of all the people that impacts. You're like, damn. Yes, exactly. That's our point. Let's talk about that. Another thing that's happened to me a couple of times is someone will say, and they don't, this is the funny thing. It's like, they do not mean it. Well, at least I don't think that they mean it rudely, but they'll be like, they'll come up to me and we'll be talking about the process, whatever. And it's really unsuspecting people too. It catches me off guard sometimes. And they're like, so is it your baby or her baby? And what they mean,
like it's our baby.
What they mean is it your egg or her egg? Why that's important to them, I don't know. But that's what they mean. But let me tell you, when they asked if it was my baby or her baby, I did not like that. I said, well, it's our baby. Because I'm trying to, I think one of the things that I do, I feel like, and I'm decent at this, sometimes too decent. Like, I don't always stick up for myself as much as I need to, but I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. But I do think one of the things I do well is politely educating people without being rude. And so I said, well, it's our baby. It's her egg. And they said, yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, it's your baby too.
It's Rue's baby as well.
Rue wants everyone to know he's involved as well.
So that happens a lot. Hi, buddy. Hi. What are some other crazy things people have said to me?
Oh, God. Well, I mean, we have kind of a kicker.
We'll save that one to the end.
I'll save the one to the end. Well, people have said, I have one more thing to share about that people have said to me, if that's okay.
Prior to being pregnant.
Prior to being pregnant is, well, have you thought about a surrogate? At that point, why don't you just get a surrogate? Okay, that's like $100,000 fucking dollars. First of all,
and at what point? What does that even mean?
And also, like, I don't want to. Like, I think people, and again, it is like the intention is good. I
mostly
think I'm actually not really sure about that one, but it's like, if I think that sometimes people think, oh, since we're not like, making love and
we're making love.
Well, yeah, we're not, whatever. Like, people are like, oh, well, it's already medical. Then all of a sudden they feel like some of the human dynamic is kind of removed. And it's like, I don't want to have a surrogate. And I think really highly of surrogacy. I think that's amazing for people to choose. I think it's so beautiful for women to do that with their bodies, because what the fuck is going on in here? To do that for someone is amazing. But I don't want that. Like, I am capable of carrying our child and I want to do that. I just need a little medical intervention. Doesn't mean I'm just going to like throw the whole process away and be like, oh yeah, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think sometimes people, and I see this online, like on other, you know, fertility pages on TikTok and things like that, is like people saying like, well, why don't you guys just adopt? Like when women, and it could be queer couples or heterosexual couples or whatever, when they're talking about IVF or if they've gone through multiple cycles or struggling and things, people are always like, well, you should just adopt. And a lot of people will say like, yes, and we will if it comes, you know, when we get to that point, and adoption is beautiful, but that's not the path. Like, everyone gets to choose their own path. But I do think that's kind of common when people think like, oh, you have to, you know, you have some sort of obstacle. It's like, well, throw the whole thing away and just move on.
Mm-hmm. You know, what's interesting about fertility is that, and I don't know the statistics, guys, so don't freak out on me, but I would imagine that the highest use of fertility services are actually heterosexual couples.
Yeah, I bet.
Where either the woman is struggling with fertility or sometimes the man is struggling with fertility and they have to use a donor. I did not realize until we started going through fertility services, I did not realize how common that is, because you just don't think about it.
Right.
People think about it with us because we're two women and biologically we can't make a baby together.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Imagine my looks and your personality.
Cut the podcast. I quit.
I'm just kidding. But imagine the opposite.
Babe.
I'm just kidding. He's going to have some above. In reality. Anyway, but people think about it with us, right? Because it's obvious. But people don't think about it with other heterosexual couples because it's not obvious.
Right.
And so no one talks about how much fertility services are actually used. And so I don't know why I felt like it was important to share that, but it's actually just very interesting when you're talking with heterosexual people about fertility and they actually have no idea that the heterosexual world actually is the highest like patient of those services.
Yeah, just mathematically speaking, right? It makes sense. There's way more heterosexual couples running amok.
Yeah.
It is interesting though. And I think in that same, if I may just add on to what you're saying, in that same sentiment are, which this is like happened to both of us a ton, even still now, but especially prior, like when we were planning, is the questions that people have about the donor. And again, like I feel like that's really a one where they're coming from a good place, but it's also like not really any of anyone's business. And we've been, I think it's kind of a mixed bag with us. Like people that we're close to, we've shared information about the donor, or, you know, people that have gone through similar things. I mean, we're not completely private about it, but a lot of people, we're not really showing the photos and we're not really doing that. And it's not because, just like you said, it's like, yeah, fucking obviously there was a donor involved here, like, you know, and it's fine. And we're very grateful for him and all of that stuff. But I don't want people looking at photos or meeting our baby. I guess they won't be looking at photos, meeting our baby and thinking like, you know, they've seen someone else's baby photo in their head. And then they're thinking like, oh, you know, like he looks like or whatever. Like, I just don't want that. I want it to be
great
like,
job. He looks like the donor.
yeah, exactly. Like removed. And I don't want people to be saying like, oh, I wonder if he gets that from the donor or like all of those things. Like, as much as we can, we want people to kind of just like, it is just our baby. It is my baby and it is your baby. It is just our baby. Like, I don't want that third person really being involved. That was a choice that we made. But
also, and to be fair, it was also a choice that he made.
Correct.
He chose to be an anonymous donor.
Correct. And people feel like they can just ask, like, because we have to have one. But it's like, you wouldn't really, I don't know, like, I just feel like that wouldn't be appropriate. Like if we were two men and we had a surrogate, I don't think it would be appropriate to ask about the surrogate. Or, you know, if we knew a heterosexual couple and they had to have either a surrogate or a sperm donor, like I wouldn't ask about them. I just don't think that's appropriate. But I think people feel like with us, since it's obvious that we've had that it's okay to ask.
Oh, you mean like if it was a heterosexual couple and the man's sperm didn't work and you had to use a donor sperm, you wouldn't ask about the donor?
No.
Oh, straight people would not ask that.
Or I wouldn't
Definitely
ask about the surrogate. I just wouldn't ask any of those things. And again, I think it's because we're in the process, and so we kind of know you know, what it feels like to be a little bit more protective maybe of that information. And I do think that that's one more so than the others where it is coming from a place of kind of like well-intended ignorance.
Yeah.
Like if you've not been in that situation, you don't know that it's kind of irritating, or you may not, and it's not irritating to everyone either. Like I think some couples are totally fine sharing all that information. We're not.
I haven't met any of those couples, but
I'm sure there are, you
I'm
know,
sure
so
there are.
I think it's just kind of different levels of people. And I think that they just don't know that it's maybe like impolite to ask, but I kind of am always shocked by how like really kind of quickly forthcoming with that question people will be.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're like, do you have a photo? It's like, what? Like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Like,
And kind of along that vein, I have been asked a lot, what does the daddy look like?
oh my God.
It's not even just donor. It's what is the daddy? And then people start saying daddy donor. And these are like people I deeply, deeply love who are close to me and who've just never been through a process, who have never been through a process like this.
Right.
They've never seen anyone go through this process. So in their minds, they're being cute. It's like, oh, what does the daddy donor look like? And that probably annoys me more than anything. And so I politely say, it's not the dad. It's not the daddy. It is the donor. I'm the daddy bitch. It is the donor, because to me, dad and father, that's a totally different role than a biological donor.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that, I mean, if we just all took a step back and we related it to even other situations, people who have been, like babies who have been abandoned by their father or left, or children in general, they often will say, well, that's my biological dad, or that's my biological situation, whatever it is. But that may not be who they call dad. That may not be their father. And I think fathers are really important. So I consider that like it's an honorable thing to be a dad or a father. And so in that situation, I'm like, not the daddy.
Right.
Not the daddy.
What's that reality show that used to be on where they'd be like, you are not the father? You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God.
Maury Povich, I think.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Awful. Mainly because I probably would want to be the father, I'm assuming. Can you imagine if you have grown up in a baby's life and you're like, and then they're like, you are not the father, but you thought you were, and you've been lied to the whole time?
Yeah.
That'd suck.
I know. Anyway, just remind me
That was a
of
weird tangent. Anyway, yeah. So I think the daddy thing, I was asked that a lot, and that still happens sometimes.
That's common, yeah.
I will say though that a lot of the groups around me who are learning very beautifully. They are learning very quickly and very beautifully.
I agree.
And I drop things along the way to help them kind of understand. And the birth certificate came up the other day.
Oh.
And someone said, I've never thought about that. I said, I know.
Right,
I
yeah,
know.
that's the point, yeah.
Yeah. And that's not to the fault of their own, I guess.
For sure.
It's just, experience, exposure. And I said, well, yeah, in Arizona, I will actually be listed under the father spot until 6 months. We do the second parent adoption, and then it'll be like parent and parent, or maybe mother and mother. No, I think in Arizona it's parent and parent.
I think so, yeah.
And they just are like looking at me, and I'm like, yep. There's some extra steps there.
Right.
And it's just like interesting. It just never come up. Never thought about it.
Yeah, why would they need to think about that,
Yeah. Well, I think it also makes me think, like, what am I ignorant about? Like, what are things I don't think about?
I'm sure the list is plenty for me.
Me too. So, but we're learning, right?
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
learning,
doing our
we're
best.
growing.
That's what's important.
All right. Are we ready for the kicker?
Oh, I think so.
Okay. So the kicker of the situation, grand finale. Someone says to me,
Jesus Christ.
in a one-on-one setting. So we're in the middle of the conversation about fertility and expense. Because honestly, I think I talked about that more because I was so stressed about it. Like, I wasn't intending to do anything with that information. It's just I was stressed about it. So it's top of mind, whatever.
And it's
And
kind of like an easy part to share that's not as vulnerable as,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the health parts and the emotional toil and stuff. I think that's more something like everyone can relate to. Everyone can
totally.
relate to financial burden.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was like my go-to. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be like, yeah, it's not working and we're actually crying. So yeah, so this person says to me, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, of course." And then they say, "Well, would you ever," and then they go on to kind of, if I was in this situation, I and my like it fertility wasn't working, like just natural fertility wasn't working. I think that I would be okay with this. So I just am wondering for you, would you let someone just fuck your wife? It'd be less expensive
Oh my
and,
God.
easier. This is assuming that it works the first time.
There are so many things wrong with that statement.
So this is my response. I was like, no. No, I don't think I would be good if someone fucked my wife. No.
God. First of all, not to make this about me because it was kind of rude towards you, but let someone fuck your wife. And I feel like there are kind of like, and I'm sure that a lot of women in this position can relate to this, like people there, and this is a whole nother topic. I don't want to move on from this, but there's like a lot of little kind of subtle, it's not a jab, but subtle comments made.
It's a job.
That I'm just like a vessel for this baby. Like I am, and I know for sure that that's common in heterosexual couples. Like I'm just here, however the baby gets here. We decided we want a baby, so I'm merely a vessel. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? Are you going to let someone fuck me? That is crazy. That is crazy behavior. Second of all, as we well know now, it's not just like a one and done. So that means I'm going to go have some torrid affair with someone and we're just going to be banging it like rabbits all the time until something sticks. What the fuck?
Yeah. You know what it first made me think of? I had like this weird flashback to this movie, and it was about a lesbian couple who had two kids who they were kind of struggling in their marriage a little bit, and one of the moms fucks the donor, has an affair with the donor.
I've not seen that movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
I get triggered.
Yeah. I'm like, of course, that's the only lesbian movie they could come up with.
Right.
Is the one where one of the wives fucked the donor.
Right. Jesus. But not only is it like upsetting to me, but it's just like kind of disrespectful to you as well. Like,
yeah,
it's the opposite. It's like, okay, I'm just like a vessel, and then you're just like, you just exist. Mm-hmm. Like, really, in that situation, like neither of us have autonomy or have a say over what's going on, except for you, like a little bit more because you get to decide. For me, I'm like, what?
Well, and I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, there's so many things that could happen first. It's funny that that's the one that the person asked, because it's like, could you use one of your friends? Could you have a friend jizz in a cup in your bathroom? Like, there's like so many opportunities that you have before. Would you let someone fuck your wife?
And I'm sorry, but you wouldn't. They wouldn't.
No, absolutely not.
It's easy for people to be like, oh yeah, we would do what. It's like, no, you wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't, because they've never been in that situation, and they also would not do that.
And your wife probably doesn't want that.
No.
FYI, your wife definitely doesn't want that. Not interested. Thank you.
Yeah.
I barely wanted the turkey baster at the fucking clinic to come near me. I'm like, what?
If you want to hear about the crazy shit people say to us since we've been pregnant, tune in next week. We're going to...
the list goes on, let me tell you.
Yeah, we're going to do some weekly episodes for the next couple of weeks to just kind of loop you in on this journey that we've been on. So thanks for listening. And
have a good week.
Have a good week.